I suggest we wait for another minute. I see people still connecting. There was a message that the webinar was rescheduled, but it was only changing by half an hour. I hope people have not deducted that we were postponing it or something. We wait until 05 to open. Thank you. Agota, do you want to start? Or do you expect me?
I would say something after you, Laura. As a second welcome.
Okay, I think it's 5 minutes. We can start. My name is Laurent Bochereau. I worked at the delegation of the European Union to the African Union based in Addis Ababa. And I would like to welcome everybody to this webinar. This is the first time we organize this fair webinar with Africa NCPs, National Contact Point for Horizon Europe. So the goal of this discussion today is to inform you about the program, about the latest developments, but also remind you of your duties as NCPs, your rights and obligation. You will hear from other NCPs who will share their experience. We have also planned a training session on how to write a good proposal to the current calls on the Horizon Europe. We want this to be an interactive discussion, so we expect you to either post questions in the chat or comments. And also in the last part of the discussion, we would like some of you to take the floor and share their experience, maybe also a difficult time if you have issues that you want to share, but also your positive experience where you think has been quite effective in the way you operate. We are aware that in Africa, the different countries have developed different systems. In some countries, there have been actually no appointment for NCP. We have reminded the delegations that they should reach out to the relevant ministries to ensure that they're aware of this possibility. But we still have countries not covered. If you look at the portal, which lists those who have been appointed officially. So we will explain how this works. We will hear from countries that have established a rather effective system, how they're doing to give everybody's ideas on how to proceed. And in the last part, we would like to also discuss your further training needs. There is a possibility to organize a follow-up webinar where we would discuss in more detail any subject that you think as a group most useful. I see some chat I'm reading at the same time. So I will stop here and give the floor to my co-moderator, Agota. Please, Agota.
Thank you very much, Laurent. So my name is Agota David, and I'm working in Brussels for DG Research and Innovation. I'm a policy officer here and covering mainly Western Balkans and the Black Sea countries. But in DG RTD, we are also having a contract that is focusing on third country NCPs. So we could really support your work with this contract, and we would like you to know more about it because if you are in the system, you get regular updates from this contract. They have a very interesting newsletter with all the updated information that is relevant for the national contact points. So I really would like you to be active and visible. And I will also tell you a bit more how you can become visible in the system, because sometimes people are doing the work of an NCP without officially being nominated as a national contact point. And at the end, as Lauren already mentioned, we also want to hear your opinion and ideas, because this is what this contract can also do for you, that they can then organize a tailor-made training only for African NCPs. So please already start to think about it, what you would add at the end. And I'm really looking forward to our discussions today. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you very much. I see a message. Okay, now Dr. Helmi Mardasi has been able to join. Sorry for the late circulation of the link for this event, but now I guess we are ready to go. So as I was saying in the introduction, there will be a series of presentation to get everybody on the same level. And then we will open the floor for questions and sharing of experience with the view to also identify further training needs. So I will start with the first presentation about the actually we thought there could be a tour de table. So as we start, maybe I'll ask the speakers to say a few words, who they are, before I start with the first presentation. I think we only see the speakers. The NCPs are not visible and not able to present themselves, but I will ask all of the speakers to say a few words to introduce themselves. So starting along the agenda, Inga, please, if you connected. Yes, no. Inga has not connected yet. She sent a message that problem connecting. No, she's not connected yet. So Then Dr. Elmi Madasi, do you want to introduce yourself, please?
Yes. Good morning, everybody. Do you hear me?
Yes, very well, loud and clear.
Okay, so thank you very much for the invitation. I'm Hamid Mardassi, Director General of the unit in charge of Horizon Europe in Tunisia. So, of course, we have to deal with the Association of Tunisia. And yes, thank you so much for this invitation to speak about the experience of NCPs in Tunisia. Thank you. I'm very pleased also to see some familiar faces. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and we're very happy that you are with us. Next, maybe Maurizio.
Hello, good morning, everybody, and thanks for the to the organization to ask me to present part of the training today on proposal writing. I'm Maurizio Toscano. I work at FESIT, Spanish Foundation for Science and Technology, and I'm here in my role as a coordinator of the Academy, of the Horizon Academy project, and of the NCP portal coordinator. Basically, to synthesize, like my work is to make NCP knowledge easily accessible to everyone, basically participants and novel NCP.
Thank you very much, Mauricio. There's a message from Inga that she cannot speak. I'm asking at the same time Professor Yedilfana Setaji-Mekonnen to introduce himself, please.
Thank you, Dr. Laura. My name is Yedilfana Setarge-Mekonnen. I'm one of the 3 regional representatives for EURAXESS Africa. Today, I'm going to present EURAXESS Africa services in a few minutes.
Thank you, Professor Fana. Then we have Mai Bakker. Do you want to introduce yourself, Maya?
Yeah, sure. Hello. So my name is Mai Bakker, and I'm very recently the 3rd regional representative for EURAXESS Africa. So thank you so much for having me today.
Welcome to the club. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Inga can speak. So Inga, back to you for introducing.
Thank you very much. I assume you can hear me now. I am Inger Midtkamdal. I'm the work for the Research Council of Norway, where I am the NCP coordinator for the NCPs in both the Research Council of Norway and Innovation Norway and a few other agencies as well. I'm happy to be here, and I hope my camera issue will be fixed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Inga. So participants are not visible. You can use the chat. So we will proceed now with the program. I will make the first presentation, which is a short overview of the EU-AU cooperation. So let me share. Can you see my presentation? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So 2 points. First, a quick recall of the overall framework for the cooperation between the EU and the AU in the field of science, technology, innovation. Then a short presentation of the program structure and so-called Africa initiatives that have been developed over the years. So we have a partnership between the EU and the AU since 25 years. That was celebrated last year, at the end of last year, at the summit of heads of state in Luanda. 15 years ago, at the first summit, we established a high-level cooperation dialogue in the areas of science, technology, and innovation to inform each other, but also to identify areas where Europe and Africa could work together. We quickly established thematic platforms in the various areas that you see at the bottom, which have been the pillars of the dialogue. So public health, we have a very large initiative called EDCTP, which is running its 3rd phase with a budget of 1.8 billion euro. It takes part of the budget from Horizon Europe, but it's leveraging funding from EU and AU member states, as well as complementary funding from foundations like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And it's mainly focused at tackling infectious disease. The second pillar, green transition, we have two platforms, one on food, nutrition security, and sustainable agriculture, which developed a roadmap for 10 years, which is currently being updated by 6 experts, which have been selected, 3 from Africa, 3 from the EU. And the new roadmap is expected to be presented for comments around the month of June. The second platform on the green transition is related to climate change and sustainable energy. They're also developing platforms, and we are supporting also the various stakeholders through different projects around Horizon Europe. On innovation and technology, we are dealing mostly with the digital and innovation in terms of helping small companies to grow on both sides and leveraging the possibility to link incubators and accelerators from both sides. And capacities for science, this is where we provide most of the basic funding for individual scientists through, for instance, 47 young scientists across Africa, 38 different countries in Africa. And we also are operating with the Erasmus Mundus program, as well as the Marie Skłodowska-Curie Action program for research and innovation. It's a 7-year program. We are coming to the end of this program, and we are already preparing the next phase. It's organized around 3 pillars. Excellent science, pillar 1, which is fully bottom-up. So we don't select scientific areas. We organize competition for selecting the best proposal. The second pillar is top-down. It's challenge-driven. I will come back. And the third pillar, I won't speak much today. It's mostly about innovation. It's about helping small companies, but mainly those established in Europe. So there could be companies from Africa having activities in Europe. They will be then eligible, and we support the development of joint ecosystems and the linking of incubators and accelerators from both continents. So this program is a 7-year program. There is a budget initially allocated by the 27 member states, which is 95.5 billion euro. But we have also many countries that are associated to the program. We heard Tunisia earlier. There are about 21 now countries which have become associated programs. So countries which are candidate countries to become members of the EU, a country from the neighborhoods, but we have also countries further away, such as Canada, New Zealand, South Korea, just to name a few. So those countries contribute financially to the program, pro rata their GDP, through different formula. And it means that their scientists and entrepreneurs can participate in the program with the same rights and obligation that any entities from the EU. Beyond the associated countries, we call our program a very open program, as we, for most of the areas we support through Horizon Europe, make it possible for teams from outside European Union and associated countries to participate, and in the case of Africa, to be funded, automatically funded if they are part of a successful proposal. So I would like to zoom quickly to some part of the program. First, the excellent science pillar, which is implemented through 3 main components. The first one is the European Research Council, established more than 10 years ago, that funds individual scientists, could be of any nationality. The majority of the work has to be done in the EU or one of the associated countries. It is about funding scientists at different stages of their career. So you can apply already, I think, after 2 years following your PhD until no age limit. There are different categories, 3 categories in terms of career development. And then in terms of scientific area, it could be anything from medical research to agriculture or social sciences and humanities. We have mainly grants for individuals, but there are also so-called synergy grants, where normally 4 principal investigators apply together, and one of them can be working outside EU and associated country and be funded. So we have several examples of scientists who have been recently selected and funded from Africa to be part of these synergy grants. It's extremely competitive. The grant is 10 to 15 million euro for the 4 PI. And as I say, up to 25% can go to Africa, to the selected member of the consortium. Now, the second component, Marie Skłodowska-Curie Action, is about training and mobility of scientists. I will come back to that because there are also several components within the actions. And the third component is about research infrastructures. This is about designing infrastructures. We are currently not funding the construction itself, but mainly the access and the upgrading of existing infrastructures. You will see that one of the topics currently open is under this research infrastructure component. So when we zoom to the Marie Skłodowska actions, there are actually 5 components within. And the top 3 are the most relevant components for people based in Africa. First, the funding of doctoral networks. This is about several universities coming together, some being could be in Africa, and proposing a plan of work that is innovative, it's bottom-up, and that will require the training of 10 to 15 PhDs. Those who are selected can then recruit the PhD fellows who will be supported as a cohort during the doctoral network that will only be implemented once. So their African partners can participate either as members of the doctoral network or by providing submitting applications to become a fellow. And for this, all the openings are publicized through the EURAXESS website that we will show you later. So that's for the first component, doctoral networks, mainly financing PhDs. The second component is about postdoc funding postdoc and global fellowships. That is, could be a European coming to Africa, but it could be an African coming to Europe or one of the associated countries. So this is, again, there is no specific field. It's the most innovative proposals that are selected based on the qualification of the fellow, the person who just got a PhD, the quality or the excellence of the host organization, and finally the plan of work that is proposed. The third component of interest, where we have a lot of participation from Africa, is the so-called staff exchange. This is about exchanging staff and developing work together. It will not support the salaries of the scientists, but it will support all the mobility cost, organization of conference, development of summer schools or newsletters and things like this. I will not discuss the other one because they are mostly relevant for EU or associated countries. Now, if I move to the second pillar, pillar 2, where we have the so-called clusters, we have 6 clusters. They have top-down, they relate to global challenges aligned with the SDGs. And this is where we have also most of the budget of Horizon Europe, more than half, is allocated to this pillar 2, and where we are supporting not individual scientists, but consortia. Consortia which are submitting a proposal based on a call and a topic. I will show you example later. And each of these proposals will be evaluated on the 3 main criteria by a panel of independent experts. And we select experts from a database. It's quite open, and we always encourage scientists to submit an application and be part of the database from which we select the best experts for given topics. And the 3 criteria are quite simple. Excellence. We want to show how the proposal goes beyond the state of the art and is relevant to the description of the topic. Secondly, the impact. We want to make sure that the consortia have a clear plan on how to deliver results and make sure that this will have a concrete significance on society at large. And the third one is the quality and efficiency of the implementation. So it's not enough to put together a consortium of excellent teams. You need to explain how they will work together, distribute the work, share the protection of the results, and ensure that the project will deliver. So when we launched the Horizon Europe program, we identified a number of topics for which we wanted to encourage participation of Africa. This was the so-called Africa Initiative 1 for the 2 first years, where we had 36 topics for a budget of 350 million euro earmarked for different topics across the 6 clusters, where we would encourage or make it mandatory to have participation from Africa. Same the next 2 years, Africa Initiative 2. Then we had the Africa Initiative 3, which was only 1 budget year, but as you can see, we had more topics relatively and more funding available with nearly 500. These topics, most of the deadlines are closed now, and we are now finalizing the selection of the projects and don't have statistics available at this stage, but I can show you the statistics for the first 2 initiatives, so the 4 first budget year. Yeah, you see that we have signed 219 grants with African participants. That's a total of over 500 organizations from 40 countries. Oops, I'm going too fast. And that represent funding going to Africa of 175 million euro for the 4 budget year. Now, there are many other topics in our call for proposal where we don't specifically encourage participation of African partners. Sometimes we vaguely or encourage international cooperation without being very specific. And many African partners are part of selected proposal, although those topics were not listed as part of the Africa Initiative. So just to give you numbers, for the Africa Initiative 1, so the first 2 years, we had an addition of 76 grants corresponding to 61 topics outside the Africa Initiative 1 for providing funding to 131 African organizations and an additional budget for the first 2 years of 33 million euro going to African entities. So if we look at the current Horizon Europe breakdown of participation among the African countries. And here you see the number of participants, not the budget, but the number of participants. You see the top 10 among the African countries, with at the very top, South Africa, Kenya, and Uganda, followed by Tunisia and Ghana. Now, if you look at the budget going to the different countries, you see that the top 3 is the same, but then we have a different ranking. And for instance, Tunisia, Dr. Helmi has lost a few positions there. We can maybe discuss another day why, but this is not the focus of today's discussion. Just to give you an example of a project, that's a project funded under the Cluster 6 on food agriculture. And this is a project about circular food systems around cities. And you can see that there are many partners involved in the projects, with several cities participating as hubs. I'm mentioning this project because it's actually coordinated by ICLEI based in South Africa. So an example to show that it is possible for partners in Africa not only to be a partner, but also in some cases to be the coordinator of a proposal. So now I would like to move to the current call. We call it Africa Initiative 4. I will go very quickly because we don't have much time, but I want to give you a flavor of what is currently open for competition. We have about 30 topics which have been listed as part of the Africa Initiative 4 for a budget of more than 500 million euros. So you see here the list of topics by cluster, starting with the health cluster, where you see that we have 2 topics which are open this year, deadline mid-April. The others will be open next year. So for the first topic, for instance, which is about better understanding and anticipation of the impact of climate change on health, we have earmarked a budget of 55 million, but it's not for funding one project. It's actually for funding probably 7 or 8, the best 7 and 8 proposal for this topic. And it's about looking at the impact of climate change on health. So it could be many areas to be tackled. The second, and for this, we encourage participation of not just Africa, but representative from the Global South in a broad sense. The second topic, which is open this year, is on novel vaccine for viral pathogens with epidemic potential, where we will fund up to 4 projects, total budget of 45 million. So a project will be about 10 million. The condition is that the partners should be from country where those viral diseases are currently endemic, and for which there have been or there are still outbreaks going on. So that's for health. Moving fast to the second cluster on culture, creativity, and inclusive society. This is more about the social sciences, where you see 3 topics this year. The first one on creative alliances, fostering partnership in cultural policies and creative industries innovation. There, the conditions are that there should be 3 participants from not only Africa, but Africa, Southeast Asia, or Latin America for the proposal to be eligible. It's about funding up to 4 projects, about 4 million each in this area. Then we have 2 topics lower on the list, First one on understanding the forms of local democracy in low-income and low-middle-income countries, and one on supporting post-conflict democracy and reconstruction. There we will fund again 3 projects for each topic, about 4 million, and the deadline is in September. Moving to the cluster on digital industry and space, you see a long list of topics there. In blue are those in the digital area. We have 1 topic in the call this year with a deadline mid-April for 1 project, innovation action for 6 million euro, which is about developing advanced local digital twins using artificial intelligence for early warning and preparedness. So there we call for international cooperation because we want to make sure that the solution developed can be replicated outside Europe. In green, you see a number of topics which are related to critical raw materials. The eligibility conditions are that only countries with whom the EU has signed memorandum of understanding on the development in the area of critical raw materials would be eligible for participating. So only a selected number of countries would be eligible, namely South Africa, Namibia, DRC, Zambia, and Rwanda as we speak. There might be new MOUs signed and then the list will get longer, but this is the situation as we speak. The cluster 5, we have 3 topics and 1 open this year. It's about improving climate and weather models for Africa. We will fund 3 projects for 7 million. I will come back to this to give you more information about how to read a topic. And then finally, in the last cluster 6 on food, bioeconomy, natural resources, agriculture, environment, we have 2 topics this year in the area of agro-food. This is the one on boosting plant health and reducing losses on farm and during storage. And the second one on green transition food processing in Africa. This is a call which will close in April for research and innovation actions, about 5-6 million. We will fund 2 projects for each topics. These topics have been identified through the FNSSA platform I mentioned earlier. There will be also a topic at the bottom in the area of ocean research to support the All Atlantic Ocean Research and Innovation Alliance. This is an alliance where all the countries from Africa would be invited to participate, those on the west coast, the Atlantic coast, from South Africa to Morocco. So there is a last topic that we have included in the Africa Initiative 4, and this is under the so-called infrastructures. And the goal there is to increase the international dimension of the research infrastructure developed in Europe, either under the so-called S3 roadmap, which lists those infrastructures which have been identified as priority infrastructures, or ERIC, which are a legal form for establishing European research infrastructure. So the European research infrastructures are currently discussing with partners, not just in Africa, in other parts of the world, and with summit proposal. It will be rather competitive. There will be only 5 such networks funded, and the total budget earmark is 12 million. So that completes the quick description of the topic. I would like to zoom into one, just so for those of you who are less familiar with the way we operate with our call for proposals. For each of the topics, we have about 2 or 3 pages of description using always the same structure. We provide, obviously, a budget, a total budget, and we identify the number of projects that will be supported by identifying the size of the project. So, for instance, in this case, we have a total budget of 24 million euro, and we indicate that it will be 7 or 8 per project, which means we will fund the top 3 after the evaluation and selection, the ranking of the proposal. On the eligibility, we're very clear about the fact that at least 30% of the number of beneficiaries should be based in Africa. We also specified that we should use data coming from Copernicus and Galileo, should be required. Doesn't mean that you cannot use data from other Earth observation systems, but this European Earth observation system should be taken into account. And we also make it an additional requirement that there should be open access to all the code and the modules that will be developed by the project. Then we have 2 different sections. One on the expected outcomes. So it's about the impact, the expected impact, and we expect that each proposal will explain carefully how they intend to meet those expectations. So, for instance, if you look, we need better models, but better models that reflect African conditions and can support adaptation and early warning. We want to also support stronger climate prediction services and ensure that they will be used by the relevant communities in Africa. We want to make sure that this contributes to increase the research capacity in Africa and better represent Africa in the international fora like IPCC. And we want also to ensure that the work will help support a different policy framework like the one mentioned below. Then on the scope of activities, we are not very prescriptive, but we give indication of what we expect to see or not to see. Not to see because we already funded heavily one area, for instance. We want to fund other approaches or methodology. So I'm not going to read in detail because we don't have much time, but it's important to understand that the scientists need to read this very carefully before engaging in a proposal. So, for instance, we mentioned specifically that we want the consortium to cooperate with other existing EU initiatives, such as the one mentioned. Those working in this area will know climate services and climate mitigation. AfriGeo is more about the African soil and the mapping of resources in Africa. And then mention, for instance, that we expect to leverage artificial intelligence, machine learning, and other high-performance computing for doing the work that is described. So this is an example to read because we should not encourage anyone to just prepare an application in the case of this Africa Initiative 4 and then hope that they will find a way to be funded. They need to read very carefully the expectation to make sure that they can fit in and they can have part in a proposal that is relevant. So I will just mention that we have another call currently running under the EDCTP, which is the European Developing Countries Technology Platform, which is about strengthening capacity in Africa on clinical trials. So there are also 6 calls which are open now, total budget of 150 million euro, where the focus is on Africa. The coordinator is expected to be also based in Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa. So I will stop here. The rest you will hear from the next presentation, notably what EURAXESS Africa can provide. And I would like now to stop sharing my presentation and move to the next presentation, which will be given by Professor Yedilfana Setarje-Mekonnen from EURAXESS Africa. Fana, over to you.
Hello, can you hear me? Hope you can hear me. Yeah. Can you also see my slide?
Correct.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Laura Boshuru, from EU Delegation to the Africa Union. I'm really happy to represent EURAXESS Africa here. Also, my colleagues are also attending as a panelist, Dr. Ahmed Malal and Dr. Mai Becker. I present only about EURAXESS Africa services. It's really very important workshop. I think it's, as already mentioned, it's for the first time, but it's very, very important because usually we do things together with NCPs. So I hope this information and training session will definitely helpful for NCPs. These are my colleagues and myself. Dr. Ahmed Malal is based in Tunisia, and Dr. Mai Bakri is based in Egypt, and I'm based in Addis Ababa. We are all professors in the universities, and we are, of course, based in 3 countries, but we work for the continent as much as we can. We are trying to reach out to many researchers, institutions, innovators in Africa to get informed about the Horizon Europe opportunities. And we are trying our best to enhance African participation in this, the largest innovation and research funding program. Before I explain about EURAXESS Africa services, let me give you some highlight about EURAXESS worldwide and who we are. So EURAXESS Africa is just one of these 9 hubs in EURAXESS worldwide, which established or initiated in 2013 with some hubs outside of Europe. At the moment, we are 9 hubs with 17 dedicated country and regional representatives. So our aim is to bridge, serve as a bridge between Europe and the rest of the world, to foster the scientific collaboration, the research collaboration between Europe and the rest of the world researchers and institutions. So we are promoting international collaboration to tackle a global challenge, as well as trying to enhance the researchers' mobility and the career development. We have a EURAXESS platform, which is a leading portal for research community, which has all-in-one kind of platform. It's a leading networking platform. It's a leading information tool for research community worldwide that aims to foster researchers' mobility and career development and get information about research in Europe. And specifically, we provide free access to information about research in Europe. We provide information about opportunities for research funding, for mobility and training and networking. So also provide practical tips to pursue scientific career in Europe for researchers, innovators in Africa, for example, for EURAXESS Africa. And we also facilitate this international collaboration and transnational mobility. And this EURAXESS network is open to all nationalities, including African nationalities, open to research fields, to all disciplines, at all career levels. So no age, no country, no field or discipline limitations here. So we have more than 669 service centers located in 43 European countries. And out of this, 9 are outside of Europe. We'll see the list of these EURAXESS worldwide hubs outside of Europe in the next few slides. All services of EURAXESS are free of charge. Researchers, organizations can create their account, their profile, so that they can be visible by researcher institutions worldwide. And this service is free of charge. Information, capacity building, trainings, and so on, we provide for free. So I think Africa researchers institutions should be benefit from these services. These are colleagues in EURAXESS worldwide. So at the moment we are 17. As you can see here, we have a hub in North America, in Latin America, in Africa, of course, in India, in Asia, China, Japan, Korea, and Australia, and New Zealand. The central management is located in Brussels, in Belgium, led by program coordinator Cristina Gomez. She's, of course, based in Spain. So we're able to organize a database of more than 130,000 researchers, innovators in EURAXESS worldwide database, which is the largest database in the world. Out of this, 22,000 are from Africa that myself and Maya and Ahmed are taking care of, providing information, providing all the necessary support to these contacts. We organize over 3,000 events, both online and physical events in EURAXESS worldwide. Out of these, 150 are organized by EURAXESS Africa. EURAXESS Africa is, of course, one of the youngest hubs in these 9 hubs of EURAXESS worldwide, launched in 2022. Just 4 years back, now become a central platform for Europe and Africa research and innovation collaboration. So EURAXESS Africa works with the following tools. We have a website that's dedicated for EURAXESS Africa. So on this website, we provide news. We also provide all the necessary information that we think relevant for African researchers, innovators, and institutions. We have also social media channels. We are actively present in LinkedIn, in Facebook, in X, in Instagram, and other social media channels. We have many followers in these medias. We have, I think, more than 21,000. And for the flash note and newsletter, we have more than 22,000 subscribers who regularly informed by us about the opportunities from Horizon Europe. We also organize this info and practical sessions, both online and physical. This is our website. This is the landing page of EURAXESS Africa. As you can see it here around the middle with the yellow highlighted. It says sign up for free membership to EURAXESS Africa. So you will receive reliable and up-to-date information on EU funding instruments. Basically, this time we are promoting Horizon Europe and more information about research in Europe. So we'll send out this kind of information via email on regular basis, maybe weekly or maybe monthly or quarterly basis. We send out all this relevant information that we think good for African research. So this is a free subscription. So I think yourself, and you can also share this to researchers, innovators in your country so that they can be subscribed to EURAXESS Africa and get reliable information directly from us. We get information from Brussels, from headquarters European Commission, and also we send out information that we get from European Commission delegation to the Africa Union and other delegations in Africa, or the other stakeholders working with us. So these are some countries. I think there are 15 countries in Africa that we had physical events so far in the last 4 years. We have been to Tunisia, to several institutions and organized physical events, Horizon Info Sessions, EURAXESS Africa Day or something like that. We have been to many universities in Ethiopia, in Egypt, in South Africa, Kenya, Morocco, Senegal, Nigeria, Rwanda, Ghana, Zambia, Cameroon, Botswana, Algeria, Libya, and at the moment now we are in Namibia, and maybe later this week we'll be also in Mozambique. And we are also planning to visit some other countries this year and the next year until the end of the Horizon Europe. So in all these physical events, I can tell you, and maybe you can also witness, we meet with NCPs and we coordinate, we organize those physical and also the online events together with NCPs in different African countries, and we appreciate that. These are webinars planned for 2026. We had already the Africa Initiative 4 continental webinar and also Mediterranean Initiative 3 regional webinar during end of January this year. And we had thousands of participants from across Africa. And we are also planning again to have MSA staff exchange, doctoral network, postdoctoral fellowship, and ERC grants in the upcoming few months for this year. And definitely you will be contacted, and you can also share this information also to researchers, innovators in your country so that they can get information, training on all of these thematic Horizon Europe calls. So during these calls, we invite diplomats, we invite experts from DGRTD, from DGEC, from EU delegation to Africa Union and other African countries. NCPs also be involved, and fellows of MSA, awardees of different EU grants, experts in grant writing from universities, research institutions, and partner, and also from government official will be invited, so that participants will get very adequate, timely, and reliable information about this funding, mobility, networking informations. So this case, we can reach out to many researchers, innovators in Africa. Otherwise, we cannot really reach out in person in all these institutions here, because we have more than thousands of institutions in Africa. But this is strategically the right mechanism to reach out to many and inform about the available funding and mobility and training opportunities for African researchers, innovators, and organizations. So if you are also interested to know more about the previous webinars, you can visit our YouTube account. This name is EURAXESS Africa name, and able to get pre-recorded videos on those thematic areas. So I'm not actually going to present the Horizon Europe Pillar 1, Pillar 2 programs. It was very nicely with example presented by Dr. Loro Boshoro. So what I want to tell you here is that we can collaborate with NCPs or other stakeholders to promote, to enhance our participation in Horizon Europe. Maybe this is what I want to give this message. And what again, other thing is that as an African, we are eligible, as a low and middle income countries, we are eligible to automatically participate or be a beneficiary for this Horizon Europe. So I think we need to make use of these opportunities. So far we have two associated countries. Sorry, there's some noise just at the backside of my presentations. Yeah.
It was me, Fana. It was me, Fana, tried to make you maybe conclude soon.
Okay. So we have Tunisia and Egypt from Africa, but as a low and middle income country, all African countries, researchers, institutions are eligible to participate. Again, I'm not going to present the Pillar 1, but as I already told you, we will have a dedicated webinar on three of these MARI Scholar Career Actions, doctoral network, postdoctoral fellowship, and the staff exchange very soon. So definitely that will be very helpful, and we'll communicate you. Again with ERC, Dr. Laura already mentioned very nicely. So this is the calendar you can share with the researchers in your countries, calendar for ERC and calendar for MSA calls. Some of these calls are already closed, but you need to know that this comes every year. So just keep informed. And if you are already a member of the EURAXESS Africa, definitely you will get a notification from us ahead of the time. So the other thing that I would like to mention in this presentation is that we need to have this strategic collaboration between us so that we can inform, we can provide updates on the Horizon Europe to our networks in your countries, for us in our continent. So researchers, institutions get information on time. So that will not be a barrier anymore. So with this, we can close this gap. The other, we can collaborate in the capacity building, organizing these kinds of training. For example, we can have webinars online for your respective countries, for researchers, innovators in your countries on different programs, or including grant writing. Why not? So I think if you have any interest, we can collaborate together, and joint activities. We can also organize the joint activities with your country and EURAXESS Africa. We can also support this mobility support for researchers in your country and also researchers in Europe and beyond. We can facilitate it together, the network. And we can connect also African institutions with the European institutions. Our platform, the EURAXESS platform, can also assist with this. There are so many researchers and organizations already registered in our network, so that we can keep connecting them. So together, definitely we can enhance the scientific collaboration between Europe and Africa, research and innovation, also organizations. So this is the EURAXESS collaborative or partnering network section. So as already mentioned, we have more than 16,000 researchers, innovators in our database who already expressed their interest, who already put their profile, their contact address, and also ready to communicate. We have more than 26,000 organizations registered again in EURAXESS platform. So we can really help our researchers in Africa or organizations in Africa to network with this researcher and organizations, mostly in Europe, but not limited to Europe. So this is one opportunity that we get from EURAXESS. Another important is the EU funding and tender portal. I think all of you know about it. So this is a place where researchers, innovators can find calls for proposals, all the proposals, even from the previous program from Horizon 2020 and from Horizon Europe and all other EU funding instruments. You can find all those calls for proposals here. And it's also a place where you find the PIC, participant registration number of your organization. So this is the requirement to participate in EU funding programs. So if you don't have that, or if that institution do not have this PIC number, this is also a place where to register and get that number. So the other most important section of this portal is partner search. Here you could find hundreds, thousands of institutions. Most of them are in Europe, but I already said not limited to Europe. You can find them here, and they also express their interest to collaborate and to network with the rest of the world. So again, you can find other EU programs, including the second largest EU funding program is the Erasmus Plus at the moment. So you can also find information about Erasmus Plus and Intra-Africa Academic Mobility and the rest and other programs. So this is really very important. And maybe if you are interested, as Dr. Laura already touched, if you need any training on EU funding and tender portal, we can organize it maybe later. So I think this already mentioned earlier, and so please let's build together the Africa's vibrant research and innovation community, and we are very happy to collaborate with NCPs in their respective countries to enhance their researchers, their institutions' participation in the Horizon Europe funding program. Having said this, I also put resources here, EURAXESS Africa platform with a link with EU funding and tender portal, again with it, and Cordis. Here are also all relevant links with related to ERC, MSA Global, and the Horizon Europe program, work program for 2026-2027, with all those topics previously discussed by Dr. Laura, and other relevant links here. With this, I stop here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Fana. So there was a question whether the presentation will be made available. The answer is yes. As you can see, there is a lot of information already. And EURAXESS has on the website a lot of information that you can also download on previous webinars for specific part of the programs and or specific events that took place. So we will now move to the next presentation on the role of NCPs, national contact points. As you have seen, our program is quite large, Horizon Europe, with different pillars and different components. So for some countries, there are several NCPs. For some other countries, there's only one that is supposed to cover the whole Horizon Europe. So we'll now move to the next presentation by my colleague Agota on the expectation about what NCPs are supposed to do. Agota, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you, Laurent. And I will ask Professor Yadir to share the slides, because somehow if I share them, there are some missing parts. So we agreed that it will be best for everyone if he's doing it for me. Thank you so much. And I will be a bit quicker, I think, because many things have been already mentioned. And I was happy to see that EURAXESS is also providing you with a lot of opportunities. So I think you are in very good hands. So please, the first slide. So I just wanted to collect some generic information about some standards that you have to follow. So there are some national level standards, like you might all know, of course, because you are already established NCPs, but you are not financed by the European Commission, but you are always financed by your own country. So we cannot, we provide a lot of services, as you see in the last point. So there are many trainings and info days provided both by the European Commission and also by the NCP networks, but we cannot finance your work itself. Then it's a very important part, is confidentiality, and it will also be on the individual level mentioned. So I will rather speak there about that one. And sometimes you might only have one NCP coordinator, as it was mentioned by Laurent, and then maybe this one person is covering everything. But usually in the member states, there are specific persons for each and every role. So you have one per cluster, one, at least one, but in certain countries, you even have a full organization covering only one cluster. So of course, there are many differences, but we will have some very concrete examples after my presentations showcasing some of these structures, so I don't want to go into the details there. And you can, of course, follow this structure, but it's not at all compulsory. So you can only have one person or as many as you wish. You can have one person per cluster or more. It's really up to you, but we have a structure that can be followed. On the next slide, I'm mentioning some of these personal level standards. So, and this is very important, this transparency and equal access, because this is also related to the conflict of interest rule. I will have one slide also about that one. So you, of course, have to share the information with anyone in your country. So it's not that you work in one organization and then only your colleagues will know about certain possibilities. And there will be even some rules to follow under the conflict of interest part exactly for this reason. So you really have to provide the information to anyone in the country. And this is why you also have to be available. So of course, we know that in many of your countries, people are having different jobs, and this is just one part of your working time. But still, you need to have an email address that can be available by the applicant or potential applicants. And then, of course, you are free to respond whenever you have some time for this purpose. Then you should also be a bit knowledgeable, very knowledgeable about the program part you are covering, but also have some general knowledge about the program itself. But I think these events like this one is really exactly serving this purpose. So now you already know quite a lot about the whole work programs and also Horizon Europe in general. And as far as I could see, EURAXESS is also organizing many such events. And of course, if you can communicate with your stakeholders, it always helps. So on the next slide, I really go just very shortly about the main functions, and I would rather concentrate on the first two, and I'm sure that this is also what you mainly do. So it's partly informing and awareness raising. So you have to circulate documents. If you get a newsletter from EURAXESS, if you get a newsletter from our contractor, then it's nice if you can share it as widely as possible. So then, of course, many participants or potential participants can use this information. I'm sure some of you are organizing events, or you can do that together with the EURAXESS Worldwide colleagues. And not only information events, but also brokerage events, because it's an excellent opportunity that there are these online networking tools. But of course, if you meet people in person, that is really different. And I think all these training opportunities and information events really help to raise the awareness about Horizon Europe. And then there is the other part. I think that's the main part, when people are coming to you and you give advice, and you give advice not only on the program in general, but also how to write a proposal. So that's why we will also have a part today that will help you again in this, how to make your proposal more excellent, more impactful, because as Laurent mentioned, these are the implementation impact and excellence. These are the different criteria. You really have to pay attention to every part of the call text, and you have to follow it carefully. And then, of course, you can also cooperate with other NCPs in your country and also outside of your country. I will have a slide on these opportunities. So just shortly on the conflict of interest on the next slide, because I think this sometimes is not so clear. So that's why I wanted to focus on that one. So it's on the next slide. Maybe it's not somehow, we cannot turn the page. Thank you so much. So I already mentioned this, that of course you have to provide equal treatment in the whole country. But what is very important, so if you are a national contact point under a specific cluster, then you are not allowed to apply for those calls. So you can apply for calls under another cluster, or another program part, but you are not allowed to apply for that part of the program where you are an NCP. So because I know many times these are excellent researchers whom you delegate, but please be aware that this is really a conflict of interest, and then you are not allowed to apply. And even if you are working in an organization that wants to apply, it's possible, but then you have to inform the Commission already in the preparation phase when you are preparing your proposal. And you should say that there are some kind of regulations that help you to separate yourself from the applicants. So this is really important to know. And you are also not allowed to evaluate proposals. Then on the next slide, so it's also that we have a new nomination system. I will not go into the details, but it's important to know that there is a new system, and you have to nominate first a so-called main contact point. Under this here link, you find the email address where you have to send only the name and the contact, so the email address of that person, and then that person will be able to do everything on the portal. But I also want to let you know, and we will send it around in this whole mailing list that was circulated, also the information about this webinar. So this contractor has prepared a very basic and simple guidance, 2 pages, not 20 like the normal one, which is a bit difficult to follow. So there will be 2 really simple documents that will explain how to nominate or how to make yourself visible, because as I said, you can see it on the next slide. So we are organizing many information days, and also the Horizon Academy and other NCP networks, they are organizing very interesting trainings. Many are online, so you can follow them, but you will only get an invitation if you are really visible in the system. And sometimes you need to tick something extra. So please, when we send around this guidance document, read it carefully. And just one final slide about a bit summing up. but actually this is about what we offer. And I want to add once more that we have this specific training opportunity under the contract. So please suggest us any topics. If not immediately, you can also reach us in writing, because we want to collect all the ideas so we can organize something tailor-made for you. And as I said, so you will see that there are opportunities also here organized for the member state NCPs, but this contract can also cover your travel expenses. And I was happy to see, by the way, applicants coming from Africa. So please use these opportunities, because I think you can learn a lot from other member states. You will also see it from Mauricio, who is very experienced, the national contact point, or also from our Norwegian colleagues. So I really want to encourage you to use these opportunities as much as possible. Thank you very much. And I think now you will hear some very concrete case studies, and I'm sure it will be very useful. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Agota. I think that was very clear. We often have questions about this conflict of interest and how to work with the portal. We will not take questions at this stage. Please do use the chat if you have comments or questions. We will take them later. We have foreseen three more presentations, two from countries that have established an NCP system for some years, starting with Norway. Norway has been associated for many years. And Inga, who is one of the NCPs for Norway, will describe how it works in Norway and how they interact with African counterparts, notably. Inga, the floor is yours. We cannot see you. Yes, we can see you.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Laurent. And now it seems to all be working. Thank you. So good morning to all of you. Good afternoon, maybe, where you are. Thank you so much for having me here. I think this is a very important meeting, and what has been said from EURAXESS and from Agota is really in the line with what I will be sharing as well. So I think this was very good introductions. I will now see if I can share my screen. You should be able to see it now.
Yes, we can.
Yes, perfect. Okay, so I will give some few updates. First of all, Norway. Where's Norway? Norway is on the top of Europe. We are a country of only 5.5 million inhabitants, but we have been doing quite well in the Horizon Europe. And we really participated since 1994, even though we are not member states, we are an associated country. But we have taken Horizon closely to be an integrated part of our national research and innovation system. So I've shown you this like the cake, the diagram here, showing you that we have the national funding, and then we have the European funding, which is now more than 1/3 of the total funding of total competitive funding. That's very important. Total competitive funding of Norway. And it's really, really not about the money for us in participating in Horizon. It's really because Horizon Europe gives us the competences, the knowledge, the networks, and even the markets that we need as a small country to be part of. So this is important for all the knowledge that we need to develop our society further. We need to participate in Horizon because that's where a lot of the knowledge is developed and where things are being shared. So our stakeholders say that it's important because then they get to know who's out there and who's working with the same things that they are. So this is really an important part for us. As I got to say, in Norway, we have quite a few NCPs, but you can never have enough, really. So what I'm going to try to show you is how we have, with scarce resources, because we are now fewer NCPs now than we were a few years ago, how we have used other resources to make the ecosystem work, to make Norwegian stakeholders participate. So just to say that we are very integrated with national. So this is just an old map on Norwegian of the research councils, different units, and all the circles are where we have NCP resources placed. They are not full capacity. They have like a contact point, but the point is that the national funding and European funding work closely together. When we train our scientists to write good proposals, it doesn't really matter if they're good proposals for national funding or for EU funding, because it's important. You're writing a good proposal, it works both ways. So we think we combine national and European thinking. But when we want to participate in Horizon as an NCP, because you can do so much work in NCP, we've tried to distinguish between what is strategic positioning of Norwegian stakeholders, so they are good, they need to participate in the networks, but they can find good partners. That's one kind of a job. Another kind of a job is the competence and training we do for our scientists to be able to is something interfering?
Yeah, someone needs to mute. Mohammed. Yes, it's good. Go ahead.
So what we really see that we need to train our scientists and need to train all the stakeholders in how they should write good proposals. And the training that we do, it's not the NCPs in Norway who does the training. We use other systems. Like you could use EURAXESS for the training offered by EURAXESS, exactly what we offer us in Norway, just that we have different. We don't have a EURAXESS who does the training for us. When it's not NCP work, it is done together with more professional stakeholders. And then we offer some financial support schemes. It's not a lot, but we know that it takes a lot to develop a proposals, and we do sometimes then, particularly to the Norwegian coordinators, we give them a bit of funding because it takes a long time to develop a good proposal. And now we even encourage them to bring on African partners, and then we give them some extra funding because it takes a lot to fly in partners from all over the world. And then we have the mobilization part, which is really an NCP work. But even mobilization, what is mobilizing? We have narrowed it down to what is information, what is mobilization, and what is in-depth guidance. So this is really what we see as the core NCP function. And we use other stakeholders to help us with the positioning, with the training, and with the financial schemes. So we offload and let the NCPs do what's most important for them. Laurent, do you still see my screen? Yeah, perfect.
Yes.
Okay, just checking. What is to promote your stakeholders to take part in Horizon? There's a lot of information that needs to go out there. And as an NCP, you would know what information is there. This is something that I think EURAXESS does very well and probably could help you with. So as an NCP, if you don't have a big infrastructure in your country, I would have taken the information coming from the Commission and coming from the EURAXESS and just made sure the stakeholders would participate in that or would get that information. We use a lot the newsletter that we anyway send from the Research Council in Norway. We send it out with information of Horizon. So the NCPs need to help the communication department to inform them what do they need to put in the newsletters, of course. But it's not really the NCP's job in our country to do the information, but they have to help those who does it better to get the right information out. And then when information is out there, we really need to work on the stakeholders that are willing, able, and ready to go through a Horizon project. And that's not everybody. It's really somebody that are willing to go, that have the network, or we want to go into the network. And who are they? When we work in the capital, in the Research Council in Norway, we don't necessarily know who are the scientists in the different universities who are really ready, the best candidate to take part in a Horizon project. So then we have what we call EU advisors. So that's basically, in some universities, they call them local contact points. So with all the universities and all the institutions in Norway, they have one or two people that are the EU advisors. They help the scientists in the different departments. They know who they are, and they help them find the right proposals, go through the work program, and target them and mobilize them and assist them in everything from finding partners and or writing the budget or whatever they need. So what we do from the Research Council as NCPs, we train the trainers. We make sure that the local contact points, or the EU advisors, if you want, are the best possible equipped to do the job so that they work with us. So we have sometimes more interactions with them than with scientists directly. It's only when the scientist is like really working on a proposal and have questions on how to develop that proposals that our NCPs, again, if they have the capacity and the knowledge, will work directly with the scientists working inside an application and help and assist. And then in that case, very often what we also do is that we work together with NCPs from different countries where they have other partners in the same project. If you're a project with partners from different countries, we work with NCPs in the different countries and try help the scientists and answer their questions. Sometimes they haven't understood the call text right. Sometimes they have questions that are more technical, and then we need to ask the Commission for help, but then the NCPs can do that, and so the scientists can focus on the scientific context and the impact. So that's their job. So we do interact with the scientists, but also mostly with EU advisors almost, and with industry partners, of course. And for this, I think the most important thing that for you is what we, in the middle here, we have open online cafes. So all our NCPs in the different parts of Horizon, they invite scientists and stakeholders to open cafes where they just sit in a table or around a digital meeting room like we do, and ask questions and share experiences, and completely informal. Sometimes they give a presentation, what's new from the Commission, what is coming now. There's this call that might be interesting for some of you, but just have a space where people can connect and ask and create a network and use this, share experiences. We don't manage to meet physically so often because we have very long distances between our universities, but then we do the online cafes very regularly, and that's also a way that we make not only individual scientists, but a community of Norwegians, EU happy people that would like to contribute, and they help each other more than even actually we manage to help them. So by creating this community, they also help each other, and it makes our job easier as NCPs. So at the very end, I'll end here. We have many years of experience, and a few things that I'd like to highlight, to repeat. You need, as an NCP, you need a network. The network that your Commission has provided among the coordinators has been extremely valuable to understand how to organize at the national level and how we work as NCPs, what are the most important jobs and where do we need to focus. We've also worked a lot on training the trainers, because as we are fewer people now than we were 5 years ago, we rely on the EU advisors working in the different universities. So we need to train them to do the best job possible, because that makes our job easier and it makes Norway succeed better in the proposals. And again, when people come to us say that we found this call, the deadline is in 2 months, it's like, it's too soon. You need time to develop a proposal. So you need to start really, really early. When the programs now came with the 26 deadlines, we look at the deadlines in the fall. We even look at the 27 deadlines to start early to develop a good consortia and to develop good proposals. And you can even access online the draft proposals. The Commission has started now to access the draft proposals, so you can start even earlier. And then we say to fresh partners with not so much experience, we say that find a project manager with a lot of experience. Do not try to coordinate the proposal yourself until you have participated as a partner many times, and then you can be ready to take on the coordinating role. And at least from a policy perspective, we encourage our scientists to include industry or public sector partners from Norway in the proposals, because that's how we see that we get best impact from the proposals, by having user partners from our country. So we very much suggest that all the scientific partners bring at least one user partner from their country, because then you get to test out the solutions, and we make sure that we have a lot of better impact into the society from participating in these very, very valuable projects from Horizon Europe. So that was my short presentation, just to share a few thoughts and a few experiences on how we do it, and to make the job easy and livable as an NCP, because you could always do so much, but then you need to rely on the resources that you have around you to be able to do what's most important inside the role of an NCP. So thank you. I hope that was valuable.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Inga. That was very valuable and maybe a bit overwhelming for those working alone in some country trying to do, but it's a presentation on a system which has been built over the years and should give ideas for you how to operate in your own country. Remember, Horizon Europe will end in 2027. We are preparing the next program. The proposal is to double the budget. So investment you make now with Horizon Europe, the current program, you will be able to develop it further in the next program. And I should say, Inga, I should have started by congratulating you for the Winter Olympics, because you won so many medals. You're on the top of the table of medals. And the way you, a lot of people are asking, how did Norway do it? And I think if you train your athletes, or if you train your scientists the way you train your athletes, I think it's worth listening to what you had to say. So thank you again, Inga. We will now move to Dr. Helmi, similar presentation on how Tunisia has set up its network of NCPs more recently, because Tunisia has only been associated to the previous program and this current program. So, Dr. Helmi, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Laurent. Thank you so much once again. Thank you for inviting me and to hear about Tunisian NCP system. Do you see my slides?
Yes.
Okay. So it is also a pleasure to be with you, with Inga, with you, Laurent, who has visited us in Tunisia already. And I must confess that EURAXESS Africa really is besides us, and you have a lot of activities, and we have had the pleasure to welcome you in Tunisia several times. So once again, it's a great pleasure for me to be with you and try, of course, to show you how things are going on with Tunisia, particularly with regard to the implementation of NCP system. So as you know, Tunisia has first enjoyed, well, I tried to switch to the next slide.
Can you make full screen? Full screen.
That's okay?
It's not
full screen? Okay.
Could you?
Okay. Is that
Could
okay
you try
now?
to make it full screen?
Okay.
Yes.
Looks good.
So as you know,
Yeah.
Tunisia enjoyed the status of associated countries since 2015. Then, of course, this has been renewed under Horizon Europe after 1 year negotiation, and we signed the association agreement on March 29, 2022. And as a direct consequence of the association of Tunisia to Horizon Europe was the implementation of the unit for the management of Horizon Europe under the umbrella of the Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research. And the mission of the UGPU, this unit, is threefold. First, negotiates with the Commission and ensures Tunisia representations. Also to promote and manage the program, and of course to embed the national RNA as much as we can into the European research area. Well, we rely on a network. Yes, I must confess that we have a network that is made of 22 program committee delegates. And as you see, we have 28 national contact points, but also we have been invited to designate mission representatives, 13 mission representatives, and also for next door help for researchers in their institutions or universities. We managed to implement also project managing offices, which who of course we try to help them and to provide them with information so that they can help on-site researchers who are willing to participate in Horizon Europe projects. Of course, with regard to NCPs, we have two main documents on which, of course, we rely. Of course, there is the NCP guide from the European Commission, which have been dealt with before by Ms. by Ms. Agota, and also at the national level we have our charter to which our NCPs should comply with. So this is a charter that we provide to our NCPs, and mostly our NCPs try to dedicate 25%, almost 25% of their working time to the promotion of Horizon Europe. And this is, of course, with the agreement of the director of the institution of the hierarchy. But of course, this requires first the authorization of the Minister of Higher Education and Scientific Research. And of course, the NCP is aware of the duties, or his rights, and also all the tasks that he would be will be performing in the context of participation to Horizon Europe. How do we recruit, and how our NCPs? So we designate a selection committee, then we publish, we advertise through a call for expression of interest, then we look at of course the file selection through the file sent by the NCP, and then we proceed with oral interviews. Finally, as I said, nomination came from the cabinet after the minister, and of course the NCP signed the charter to commit or to exercise its tasks under for the promotion of Horizon Europe. Selection, of course, is based first on experience. The NCP should have a good knowledge of the Tunisian RNA landscape, should also have some experience in managing, not necessarily Horizon Europe, but experience with the transnational projects, also a knowledge of the EU framework program, and ideally also if he had already coordinated or participated to projects under Horizon Europe. This is something, of course, that is, let's say, highly desired. Then with regard to skills, as you know, of course, we look if of course he has the ability to interact with the high-level representative from the academia and non-academia, also to be ability to perform Horizon Europe requires a lot of need to be very, very anticipative, and also to work in such some sometimes also stressful conditions, to be a good speaker and to be able also to convince the audience to participate in Horizon Europe. Of course, it is important to be capable of working in a team, and of course, also it is important to be proficient with regard to English language. Well, we have mainly two origins for our NCPs. They could be engineers or researchers from universities or research centers, but also administrative staff involved in research internationalization. So this is mostly the affiliation of our NCPs. So this is just to show you a family picture of our NCPs along with program committee delegates that we use to, and you can see it, the first, the photo on the left, Ahmed, who is now a member of EURAXESS Africa, but he was also former NCP, and I think most of NCPs have benefited of a support program from the EU, which was launched in 2019, and they benefited of a number of training, so they know much about Horizon Europe and the way to carry out their tasks through the 7-year program. Well, I won't go in detail. I think this has been dealt with before. Of course, our NCPs are tasked to provide information and awareness raising. We organize, of course, regularly, particularly at the launch of the work program during the 7-year program, orientation and cooperation with the stakeholders, as Inger said, and the support of partner and networking. Yes, of course, we provide advice and training for project leaders and also for personal development in terms of updated knowledge related to Horizon Europe, and also acquired knowledge related to communication and valorization. NCPs are asked, of course, to develop their networks, to know who are willing to participate in order, of course, to focus on those who are able to participate. And this is really important to have, let's say, in between the work programs, to have a clear idea of the RNI landscape and those researchers or RNI actors who are capable of participating to Horizon Europe, so that we can provide them with coaching and help. Of course, this is just to show we try to be close to our RNI community. So these are info sessions, on-site info sessions through universities. This is a kind of roadshow, as I said, that we carry out before, immediately after the launch, or even before the launch of the work program. We also organize webinars, and NCPs, of course, are part of these webinars that we organize regularly, well, we also encourage our NCPs to be part of the network, so to be close to their peers in Europe. We are part of 5 networks. Here we have MSCA Net, now it's Radiance, and Care for Bio, Horizon Academy, and also NCP Wider-Net. And we have just integrated also the EIT best now, and we try as much as we can to integrate as much as we can more and more networks. Well, so for instance, with regard to NCP Net, now we are currently endeavoring to help Tunisian actors to participate to brokerage events, also to benefit of the opportunities offered under this NCP project, for instance, for pre-checking proposals. So NCPs and UGPU work tightly to try to help researchers and prompt them to participate. And of course, Tunisia one of the first countries that has participated in that to be part of the global EURAXESS network, and we launched a few years ago our EURAXESS portal, and of course EURAXESS is also, along with COAST and all other means, to help to increase the participation of Tunisia to Horizon Europe. So of course we are very, very keen to work closely with EURAXESS Africa, and so I think this is what I want to say. I hope I stick to time, and thank you once again for your invitation. This is just to let you know that also as the first country that have benefits of association, we have recently traveled to Cairo, where a number of NCPs interacted with also their peers in Egypt. It was January 27th, so a few weeks ago. Well, so that's what I wanted to say. Thank you so much for your invitation once again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Helmy. That was extremely interesting, and I was happy to see on one of your picture Dr. Ahmed Malel, who is the author, who was the first. There was only one before, EURAXESS Africa representative. Now he works with Professor Fana, and Maya has just joined the group. So this was very clear. Again, it may be overwhelming for some of the countries who have only one person appointed as NCP, but this is for inspiration, not that you have to replicate starting tomorrow such a system, but give you idea how to operate. So we still don't take question. We wanted, beside providing you with information, to have a part of the meeting dedicated to training, and we were thinking what would be a good subject, and one subject that is very important for your work is to help scientists prepare a good proposal, a proposal that is likely to be selected and funded. So we are very fortunate to have with us Maurizio, who is Maurizio Toscana, who is involved in the academy that was mentioned earlier. So he will probably tell us a bit more about the project itself, and then give us the presentation tips on how to prepare good proposals. And then we will open up the floor for question, further sharing of experience from participating NCPs, questions, comments, and we want to close by identifying further training needs. So today we picked an easy topic, how to prepare a good proposal, but obviously there are other topics for which you would like to have more training in the future. So we will be happy to hear from you either during the webinar today, or if you send a suggestion after, that would be great. So Dr. Maurizio, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Laurent. I'm going to share my screen.
I think, Dr. Helmy, you need to stop sharing first.
Okay.
Yes, we see your screen, Maurizio.
Yes, but maybe I have to switch. I'm sharing, sorry. I have several. this one. Okay, I presume you can see my presentation now.
Yes.
The first
yes.
slide. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I already presented myself. I just 2 words about the project I'm coordinator of, that is Eurasian Academy. This is one of those NCP network projects that are funded by the Commission to foster international collaborations among NCPs, and in particular, this project is the one that brings together NCP national coordinators and legal and financial NCPs as networks or reference. But we also, among our goals and the scope of the project, is also to provide training to worldwide and cross-wide NCPs, particularly on legal and financial matters, but also on general cross-cutting items. So, because we are also a bit late, without further ado, I removed some slides just to save some minutes. But anyway, I prepared the slides to be distributed, so you will receive the full version there. So just to give you a bit an idea of where we are in terms of the timeline with the implementation of Horizon Europe. So we are in this last section, work programs 2026-2027 has been published at the end of last year. And we are still within the framework of the second strategic plan, 25-27. We look how this all matters also then. Actually, proposal writing can be seen as part of a 4-step process that starts with identification of the goal and the topic. In particular, for Pillar 2, as has been said before the beginning by Laurent, this is a top-down scheme. So you have to identify applicants should identify the right goal, analyzing those that have been published on the Funding Tender portal, that represent the right funding opportunity to formulate a proposal. And then the second step into this process is the creation of the consortium, because Pillar 2 goals are collaborative research. So just to have a general overview of the basic structure of how this works. So the general entry point is the funding and tender program. Then there are those work programs that are published in general every 2 years. And within each work program, there are calls, and within calls, there are topics. Topics share, so all the topics into the same call share the same start and opening and ending date. So arriving to the calls published within the framework of the Africa Initiative 4, that's been presented at the beginning, just mentioning, this is there is also the direct link to go to the selection of them, 31 at the moment, 13 open for submission, 18 forthcoming. As said, it takes time to prepare a good proposal, so maybe it's already too late for some of the topic, but very few. But most of them will. There is enough time for researchers in your country to prepare a good proposal. When you select an individual topic, this is the way it's presented, and on the left you have a lot of descriptive information about the topic. It's true that there are general rules that most topics share, but there are then specificity that really needs to be read carefully about eligibility criteria or other conditions that are specific to the topic. Even the template itself can differ. So it's very important that to read carefully all the information that is provided in a specific topic. So then on the left, the budget, the deadline, the specific condition, and also there is a section for partner research announcement that is there for open call. Institution, researcher can offer the expertise to join a consortium or search an expression of interest to join a consortium. So go to the second step, that is the creation of this consortium. That normally it's important to it's a process that starts earlier than the drafting of the proposal itself. As said, is based on Pillar 2, and all African Initiative 4 are based on collaborative research. So having a strong and appropriate consortium is a key step into the process. The general rules for Pillar 2 are there are 3 legal entities independent from each other are needed, 1 from member state and 2 from member state or associate country. Then there can be additional eligibility criteria, like, for example, it has been mentioned at the beginning for calls on raw materials, and that is something that is specified within the work program into the call text. Then, in general, there are some new exclusion in the 2026-2027 work program, and those are general rules for who can receive funding, but these have been already said also by the EURAXESS colleague before. Then a good consortium normally is built from the core group of entities, group of partners that normally already have good relationships. They already work together normally. They are very much topic oriented because they should fit, obviously, their expertise should fit the topic and the scope and the expected outcomes of the topic. And they are relevant entities within the area of research and innovation. They are normally, then the core group is expanded with, in many cases, having providers of technology, so clients, pilots, so partners that cover different roles. It's crucial as well, and sometimes it's also required, explicitly required into the call topics. And then the consortium is completed sometimes with some novel partners, sometimes to expand the geographical knowledge, geographical coverage, and to cover also some cross-cutting issues, so some partners that can be specialized in some of these areas. It is important, actually essential, depending on the call, to involve different users, especially also for calls on health. There are several in this selection of calls. So also stakeholders, citizen professionals. It's not just about the academia and the industry. So where to find partners is, for novel institution, is not an easy process. The Commission provides some tools and also the NCP networks. So there is a partner search that has been mentioned before on the Funding and Tender portal. There are events online or on-site brokerage events that helps in the direction. The NCP portal provides access to several B2Match platforms and a couple of stakeholder directories to also identify important partners in a specific area. Cordis also works as a resource for previously funded projects, and there are several networks like the Enterprise Europe network that also provide several services for searching of partners. Now, going to the core part of this presentation, that is also the preparation of the proposal, although these steps are fundamental to that. So the starting point, as said, is always the work program that needs to be read carefully. It's not just about the topic text. The general introduction of the work program, and then the introductory section into the specific work program of the call. It can be cluster 1, cluster 2, cluster 6, are very important text. Because each one has, normally in this text is where you find information to fit into the European policies that at the end the call try to produce an impact on. So, for example, this is the structure of the PDF part of the work program, and those introductory texts and the destinations that describe the broader picture and the long-term expected impact are sometimes texted that are overseen, while instead they sometimes make the difference between a good proposal and a proposal with a narrow scope that have less chance to be funded. Then you find also what I was referring before, the specific condition. If there are, for example, eligibility conditions that are specific for that topic, and goes on top on the general eligibility condition, and then you have the expected outcomes and the scope. So the expected outcomes is what should be achieved by the project. The project result should contribute to the expected outcomes. And the scope is what should be done in the project, actually. So the action plus often describes also the problem and the challenge that the topic want to tackle. It generally guide the drafting of the objective, and sometimes also include a bullet list that says like successful proposal should. And really here, while it's important also to read other part of the work program into the topic, really every word counts. So read it carefully and several times, suggesting your clients to do that. This is just to give a visual representation of what I've been saying now. Okay, the topic is just the tip of the iceberg. It's very important also to take in consideration the work program, introduction to destinations, and EU policy and strategy. They are all part of the same scheme. Now, landing to the proposal preparation part. The proposal structure is divided into two parts. There is one part is called Part A, that is a series of forms that are completed online through the submission service of the fundamental portal, and they hold general information about the proposal and the participants. And then there is the Part B, that is the narrative part, the technical description of the proposal. Important to note that the template should be downloaded from the submission system. Do not reuse or suggest not to reuse previously used template or template that you can find online from other sources, because they are often updated. Actually, they received a very consistent update at the end of last year. We will look that into more detail, and but they also can be some specific changes depending on the call. This is a narrative part that you prepare normally in a Word document, and then you transform as a PDF and you upload as a PDF on the funding and tender portal. Okay, I can skip some of the details here for reason of time. But these are the general sections of Part A. So general information about the proposal, the list of participants, the budget, ethics and security, and other questions. This is not part of the evaluation. Also, ethics, security, and other part are not. There is an assessment, but they are not part of the expert evaluations. Except in this case, for the budget, maybe I spent some time there just to distinguish between lump sum and actual cost calls. Anyway, don't take this first part just as administrative information. For example, in the general information is the space where you have the abstract, and the abstract actually is an important part, of the general proposal. Normally, is the first things that the expert read. Is like an elevator pitch for the proposal. Sometimes is left until the very end of the project, and instead is something that requires some attention. Instead, I will skip some of the issue, but here just some comment about the budget. In the actual cost, that has been the normal way of working in the last years for most of the calls, but this is changing, and this actually it's changed a lot recently. So in the actual cost, you have a table to fill, quite general. but you have just to distinguish between personal, other direct costs, purchase, and general categories. Instead, for the lump sum project, into the forms, you have just to fill the total amount that is requested, and instead you have a specific Excel where items and description of costs should be much more detailed, and this is also taking consideration up to a certain point during the proposal evaluation, and is uploaded as a separate file on the fundamental report. Now we arrive to the core part of the proposal writing, that is part B, and the submission of it. Part B proposal, as I said before, it has been recently updated, the template. One of the major changes is that the number of pages has been reduced. So in RIA stands for Research and Innovation Action, and EA for Innovation Action, and CSA for Coordination and Support Actions. That are the three main kind of activity actions in for Pillar 2 goals. So you have respectively 40 pages and 25 pages. And you have an increase for lump sum. I will just explain it later into the implementation phase. Then there are several calls that are 2 stages calls. So there you have to submit, well, the participants have to submit just a shorter section of the proposal. Actually, the first part and a bit less than half of the second section that we look in a moment. In 10 pages, and then if they pass the first stage, they have to submit the full extension. Just some general instruction there, but also a suggestion. Sometimes now is more challenging than before, because when I started as a researcher working in Horizon Europe Code, that was FP7, there was 70 pages to write. So sometimes we have really to keep in mind that that was a limit, not a reference. Now it's more there is less room, to put everything, but it's also good to know that anyway. It's important, it's not a requirement to arrive to the maximum number of pages there. So the actual template, how it's structured, is structured into 3 blocks that correspond to what has been introduction by Laurent before about the evaluation criteria. So excellence, impact, and the quality and efficiency of the implementation. We now look into that more in detail. So objective and ambition with a suggested extent of 4 pages. These few pages are crucial. The first few pages are crucial, normally to make a solid impression and to catch the interest of the evaluators. At the end of the day, they are human beings, and sometimes they are reading the proposal also after a long day of work. So it's very important, to have to express the clearly from the first pages. And the message for your client is to keep in mind also that the proposal is a convincing exercise. It's not a scientific paper. So, for example, only cite crucial references and focus on need to know information. Okay, what the evaluators need to know to evaluate the proposal. In terms of objectives, as said before, they should follow the scope of the topic and point towards the expected outcomes. A good practice in general is to set SMART objectives, meaning they should be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. Also you have to cover into the first part how the project goes beyond the state of the art, and TRL, if applicable. We have no time, and I'm sorry to explain the TRL concept here, but if it is applicable, it is explained into the topic section, or if there are questions, then can be answered. The second section is about methodology. It's actually the largest part into the template. The overall methodology suggests to take up to 10 pages, and the suggestion here is to include illustration, schemes, tables, actually everything that can make the proposal also visually attractive, to avoid excessive use of abbreviation, be consistent, provide cross-reference, and also curate the language up to a certain point. It's true that there are researchers from many countries, so sometimes the English is stressed a bit there, but it's important also to convey the message to the evaluators that it was a well-crafted proposal. That is something where especially, for example, the cross-cutting reference between the implementation part, the methodology, the objective. Writing a proposal, in my experience, is not a linear process, is not going to A to Z as a straight line, but is an iterative process where as you go deeper into the implementation and you define the task, then you come back and you link them with the objective, with the methodology, and at the end of the day, everything makes sense. Because it's written instead as a straight line, is read as a straight line. So additional section that there is this section about also what has been done before, so reuse of previous project, and then all the section about cross-cutting topics. We cannot analyze them in details, but some of them it's mandatory, some of them depends from the topic. The impact is actually instead the place where is the place to describe the contribution of the project to the political, societal, and economic objective of the European Commission. So the results of the project should be linked to the identified policy priorities and the contribution, and should be clear the contribution that the project brings against the outcomes defined in the topic and the wider impacts defined into the destination. And it also includes a first version of the exploitation and dissemination of the results. Speaking about the wider impacts, a good reference is also to, as I said before, to look back at the strategic plan that is published 25-27. All topics address impacts that are listed here, actually in this table. So also is a good reference there. There are all the clusters where the goals that we are analyzing this morning fit in. So the impact, then it has a summary table. Is still there, but one of the latest changes into the template is that this table now is optional. This was a table where normally you summarize your impact, going from the specific needs of the target groups, and then measure to address them and what sort of outcomes and long-term impacts they have. It was one of the novelties that was introduced in Horizon Europe, but as now it is optional. I have to say, I used to recommend participants to start the impact from this table and then go to the narrative part, because I find it very useful also when I prepare the proposal for NCP projects. Now, so there is still the option to put it in, and if there is space, I still valuable. But it's true also because evaluators now are used to it. And maybe also expect them. Maybe not everybody is updated about the fact that it's not required anymore. So can be avoided, but is still an important part of the proposal, in my opinion. There are six blocks, so this is the second one. Then in terms of the last part, so we have seen excellence, we have seen impact. Now we have quality and efficiency of the implementation. This is where all the activities is divided into tasks and grouped into work packages. So work packages are like coherent groups of tasks that focus on specific objectives. Each work package has its own objective, and to achieve an objective, normally a task is defined, and a deliverable is the way to show to the Commission how the task has been completed. So normally there are reports. Sometimes they are not really the activity done, but they are report about the activity. Also because on Sigma, that is the system that you use for reporting, only accept PDF. Actually, the way to structure work packages is very important. There should be a coherent and logical structure and relationship among them. They cannot be just a straight line succession of steps. And actually maybe taking a minute for a note regarding lump sum, because now it's so much present. For lump sum project, here is where the major jump in page limits is, because you have individual tables to describe each work package, and because lump sum, that we cannot go into details, but anyway, it's a new funding model that where participants are paid for each work package that is completed and reported to the Commission. So actually, if all work packages last for the full length of the project, that was more common before or even now, but with the actual cost scheme, participants may have a cash flow issue because all payments will arrive at the end. So normally for lump sum project, you divide some of the major, maybe the communication or the administrative and coordination work packages, you split it in 2 or 3 to have interim payment. This is the reason also why we have these extra pages to explain these extra work packages. And then the last part of the template is about the capacity of participants and the consortium as a whole. So where they describe the consortium, the partners, to ensure that all competencies are present within the consortium, that each partner has a valid role and is justified the inclusion into the consortium, and also to describe the collaborative dimension that is not just a series of institutions putting together. Then there is also the space where you can, for example, if there is something that cannot be achieved by the consortium itself, that may require subcontracting, this is also something that can be described here. If for the geographical distribution of the partner, if it is required by the topic, also there are relevant sections that can be prepared, that can be described here. So to summarize the changes into the template, this is particularly useful if some of you are more experienced and are used to the previous template that has been used since the beginning of Horizon Europe. So the tags have been removed. There's been this reduction of pages that I described. There are several detailed guidelines that has been removed, included, for example, a explicit requirement to describe the scale and significance of the expected impacts. This is one of the major changes in section 2. So this is not needed anymore. And then for section 3, as said, the summary table are optional, and then several tables that were there to describe particularly things related to cost has been removed to simplify the process. This is just then this kind of information is something that may be requested to the participants if they are selected for funding. I don't know how I'm getting in terms of time. I hope I have still some minutes. So, Thank you, Laurent. So, actually, when you have the proposal, when the participants, the consortium has the proposal drafted, I haven't said that, but normally, obviously, the coordinator normally has a major role, but it's not just a one institution job to prepare the proposal. But is the coordinator that normally submit the proposal, is the one that creates the record within the submission system. Actually, the first user that create the records automatically receive the role of principal coordinator contact. Even that can be changed in the system later on. And one general message for participants at this stage is, after all the effort done, don't mess it up during the submission, and don't wait until the final moment to submit. Recommendation, at least 48 hours before the submission deadline, already upload something, because the submission system allow to submit as many times as you want until the deadline, that is normally 5 p.m. Brussels time of the day of closing, and the latest submission is the ones that counts. So it's a good process to go through the error, review the warnings before arriving to the very end. Also because sometimes this deadline are shared by several calls, and you can also find technical issues for server problems. Okay, there is a link for the submission service user manual there. I'm not going to describe here the evaluation criteria because it's been already done at the beginning, just highlighting that this criteria is not there anymore. And maybe but something that I want to say that can be useful is that suggests also suggest participants to evaluate themselves, to be evaluators of their own proposal, because it changes also the perspective and is useful. It's public, the evaluation criteria are public, but also the forms used by the evaluators can be downloaded, and so it's a good exercise to go there. It's normally these calls are very competitive, so the evaluators also work like a killer mode, looking for points where to reduce by half a point, because at the end it's very difficult. And obviously, you don't want to end up with too many proposals. The reality is that you don't want to end up with too many proposals with 15 out of 15. Actually, several times the point of the expert has been said. NCP cannot be expert evaluators because of potential conflict of interest, but you can suggest the researcher in your community, if they have the right skill, to apply to be evaluators. Now, I want to finalize this with a few slides that are more as a reference. So there are links that can be used for you as a reference on NCP resources for you to prepare a training on writing good proposal. So obviously you can reuse some of these slides, but then there are a lot of resources that has been produced in these years by NCP network projects. So this time, not just a coordinator of the Horizon Academy project, but as coordinator of the Horizon of the NCP portal, I cannot avoid, to point some of the resources that has been published there. So this is the NCP portal. The NCP portal is it has two target groups, both NCPs and particularly novel NCP, but NCP in general, but participants on the other side. It has the largest growing collection of training content and tools on the program, and it also has a unified calendar of events organized by NCP network across all clusters. As said, can be browsed in two ways: by target groups. For example, National Contact Points has a specific section that is the NCP corner, or by content type, means training, tools, or events, or by team, so by the cluster, for example, or the pillar. Most of the NCP networks use the NCP portal as their only website to communicate with the participants. So, for example, here I highlight some of the networks that are more relevant for the calls. And here I include a selection of tools that are useful, in particular for proposal preparation, going from very generic glossary and annotated templates, some more specific annotated templates. So basically, annotated templates is, NCP networks take the template, the official template to the Commission, and include a lot of tips and tricks into the suggestion how to fill the different sections. So they are very useful documents, and I include here a couple published by Cluster 1. Cluster 2 also has a checklist, how-to sheets, a lot of important information, and Cluster 6. And to finalize, I also want to highlight that we have training, past training with recorded information available on the NCP portal, and also courses. I will show you some later. This is the NCP corner that I mentioned before. That is like a personalized and reserved internal ecosystem for all nominated NCPs. Is out of the primary scope of this presentation, but I cannot avoid to take the opportunity to highlight also that there is a welcome package for legal and financial NCP, but it is open for all NCPs and is accessible through the NCP portal only. And finally, there is a sister platform to the NCP portal that is the NCP Virtual Campus. That is a learning management system with over 25 self-placed structured courses on several topics, and here a selection of those specifically targeting proposal preparation. From more technical issue to more generic, even how to read the work program and call topic, to more technical issue like contractual relationships. I want to finalize with a call to action. I know that several of you already has an account, an NCP account on the portal, but for those that still don't or that been recently nominated, I suggest you to create an account on both this platform to share, to access NCP only events and documents. And it normally takes 20, there is a manual verification of the account, so it normally takes 25, 48 hours to have the account validated. And also I invite you to read our NCP portal newsletter. All the NCPs are automatically subscribed to the newsletter, so it should be in your inbox if you are nominated. We normally send one every couple of months, and this is a good way to avoid that it goes into the spam. And then we have a LinkedIn group that you have to apply for membership, so you can scan the code here or click the link that is at the bottom of the newsletter to join the group. And that's it. Thank you very much for your attention.
Well, thank you very much, Maurizio. I realized that it's been a lot of information for our participants, and everything will be shared, all the presentations. You've seen many links. So now it's time to ask questions, also share experience, positive, even negative experience being an NCP. And as we mentioned at the beginning, suggest areas where we would like to have more training. You've seen in the last presentation a number of links where you can get specific webinars or information packages on specific issues, like how to prepare the budget, how to address gender dimension, and so on and so on. Lump sum, how to calculate this and present this. But now the floor is open. Didn't see too many questions or comments in the chat, but we open it for all questions, suggestions, sharing of experience. So please raise your hand and we will take comments. I see that we still have over 40 people online, so I'm sure you've been a bit overwhelmed by all the information you've received so far, but the goal now is to give you the floor. So don't be shy. Raise your hand. I know some of the people, I'm looking for the name. I'm not going to volunteer anyone. First, I thought I will ask a few of you to share specific experience I'm aware of because we've been working together, but we didn't do this. We want to keep this spontaneous and have you take the floor. And so please do. Otherwise, we will stop the meeting there. But I think all the speakers are here, ready to provide clarifications, share further experience. So again, don't be shy. because this event is also about getting the NCPs in different African countries to know better each other. I know some of you already know each other across countries because you're part of different networks, African networks. But now it's the time. Leila. So you're the first one. Please go ahead.
Hello, good morning, and thank you for organizing this very interesting event. I am a Tunisian health NCP, and I'm pleased to participate in this event and to share my experience as
I think we lost you, Leila. I
You hear
saw
me?
that. Yeah, no, you're back. Go ahead.
Okay. So I'm NCP, health NCP in Tunisia since 5 years, and I can say that this experience is was very and is very fruitful for me, and I learned more about the program Horizon Europe, but also Horizon 2020. And I benefited from many training, many opportunities, and I participate in many European events. And this participation and this training led me to prepare a proposal and to be coordinator of a project. So I was the coordinator of a twinning project during 3 years. In health field, of course, and this experience gave me a very interesting opportunity to be skilled in the proposal writing, the coordination, and I feel that now I have many skills to help others, colleagues, to implement and to prepare or to contribute in European project. So I think it's a very good experience, and I would like to seize this opportunity to say that as African NCP, it would be very interesting to build a network as African NCPs and to have a relationship between us and to communicate and to collaborate with European NCPs. It could be through an implementation of a CSA project or other thing like this. And to have the possibility to help more our colleagues and to create a dynamic into Africa and to strengthen the collaboration with the European partners. So. Thank you for this opportunity, and I hope that we will have more occasion and more events for dedicate for NCP and for researchers, of course. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Leila, for sharing your experience. It's true that sometimes individuals are a bit afraid to be NCPs because they think they will be excluded from being a partner in a proposal. But it's an opportunity to know more about how the system works, and the time comes when you can also be part of the proposal, and as you mentioned. So people should not be worried about this. Your suggestion about establishing some formal networking is something we take into consideration. I think this request should go to our colleagues in Brussels who are doing the planning and preparing the next calls. This is something we could consider. This exists in the case of Erasmus Plus. As you probably know, there is a network, there is a project to encourage a networking of NCPs, and you have regular meetings and a lot of exchange of information. We may consider this maybe not in the current program, but in the next program. I saw that there was a question from Arushi from Ghana, but it has been answered in the Q&A. Atrida from Zambia wanted to take the floor. Your hand was up. Dr. Atrida Mulonga from Zambia. Do you still have a question? Then Dr. Abtambu from wanted to speak from Ethiopia. I see Jacob. Jacob, your hand is on, so the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Roland, and also thank you to all colleagues who have presented. Just more of a comment to appreciate this training, which was long overdue, I would say so. Of course, in Kenya, we have our NCP, but we've only in the 5 thematic areas. That is in 5 thematic we are in 5 thematic areas, but one of the things that has been probably hampering our participation as local NCPs is in terms of capacity building to be able to effectively discharge our mandate as NCP networks. So probably mine is to appreciate and request if we can have more of these trainings, and if our NCPs, either the MATIC, they can get opportunities, other opportunity for getting some further trainings, we really appreciate that. Otherwise, thank you so much for everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacob. I note that Kenya has done very well in the last 2 years, so you have been very efficient. Congratulations to you. Now,
thank you.
Are there more questions? As I mentioned, you can also provide your suggestions in writing. We will give you maybe until the end of the week to digest all the information we already shared, especially in terms of identifying further training needs. What are the subjects where you see that such a training will be most useful? Agota, do you want to?
I just wanted to mention that there are already some trainings in the pipeline that are being planned. So we will, of course, send all those around because they are open for anyone to participate. But we would like to have one specific event for African NCPs. So it would be really excellent if you could share any topics that is of specific interest for the region. So I would very much appreciate what Laurent said, that by the end of the week, because we should also then, of course, find a proper speaker, find a date, and then it needs some preparation. So if you could send some input by the end of the week, it would be excellent. Thank you.
What we can do by the end of the week, based on the suggestion received, we will propose maybe a couple of topics, and we ask the colleagues and NCP to vote what they think most interesting, and then select. So it will
yes,
be.
So of course we can wait another week for prioritization if there are many different topics, but if they are a bit linked to each other, we can also accommodate them in one training, I believe. Let's see what is coming in. And I can see still Atrida raised hand.
Atrida?
Thank you very much. Are you able to get me?
Yes.
Thank you. My name is Atrida Mlonga. I'm NCP for Zambia. I must first of all say thank you for organizing this webinar. I think for me, being maybe the youngest kid on the block in this team, it has been very informative, and it has helped to at least give me some perspective of what is expected of me as an NCP for my country. So in terms of sharing, I really don't have much because I was just recently appointed, and so I'm still really learning. And it was good to hear from Norway, Tunisia, Kenya, how you have established your systems. And I should be in touch with most of you to just learn more. I just had one question though around the work that is being done by what was shared by Norway as well as Tunisia. Very comprehensive systems there, and seems like the NCPs dedicate quite a significant amount of time doing Horizon work. I just wanted to find out how that work is supported. Who funds the work that you do? Is it the host institutions where the NCPs are coming from? Oh, yeah, anyway, that's the clarification I wanted. In terms of the training, I think for now, maybe I would have to digest all this information and see what is available, and then I'll be able to provide further topics. Otherwise, I think today's topic was very relevant, and I think maybe the most important on how to facilitate winning proposals. Thank you.
Thank you, Achitra. Before I give the floor to maybe Tunisia to answer this, I note on the call, Tombi from Department of Science and Innovation in South Africa. South Africa has also a very sophisticated NCP network. We could have asked them to present it, but you can also maybe give elements of response from the South African side. But may I ask Dr. Helmi to answer this question about how is it supported nationally, the network, for all the work being done? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Well, with regard to the support is provided, of course, by the Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research. Of course, the Unit for the Management of Horizon Europe organizes all these activities, and the NCPs, of course, are invited to participate in. And well, when it has to do with the funds, with the costs, and all this is covered by the Ministry, as I said, of Higher Education and Scientific Research. And we try also generally, we try to organize all these activities if, of course, there are some, let's say, international funding to support Horizon Europe in Tunisia, like also take advantage of the networks to which the NCP participate in, also the EU support for the association, and our, of course, internal funding, which are available, and all these are put together, try to cover as much as we can the whole program. Yeah, so this is the way it is.
Thank you very much. Well, being associated means that you need to contribute financially to the program. So it's an investment by the country to put funding in this international part. So it's clear that the country has all interest to ensure that you can maximize the chances of participation. So you get some return on investment, if I can use that term. So in the case of maybe South Africa being on the call, where you are not associated, there's still funding put aside to ensure that you maximize the chances of participation. So I don't know, Tombi, if you are on the call, you may say a few words about how South Africa self-finances those activities, or how do you select and encourage the various members of your network? Are you on the call, Tombi? Maybe not. I see that you're connected, but are there other participants who want to answer this question of how to finance the activities? Because as we said, we are not supporting this from Brussels. We considered it's for each country to establish its system. We provide information, services, training, but we do not pay for the time people spend. When we organize hybrid events together with EURAXESS, as we mentioned earlier, then we will cover some of the cost of the catering costs, for instance, and we help in the organization of the event. But we need also the various countries to put their own funding into the equation. So it's also a guarantee that there is an interest from the country. This is not just money coming to the country. You need to make your own efforts. Like Atrida was speaking earlier, in Zambia, we had a big event at the university, which was partly supported by the country with the participation of the minister. That helped galvanize the interest by the relevant scientists to take part in the program. I think Dr. Almi, you want to add something? No, there is a hand.
Yes, indeed, Dr. Bouchot. I want to say that once you are associated, and this is, of course, the case for member states, it is not really a question of what should participation brings more, because it's the new model of contribution now with the European Commission is pay as you go. So generally, we contribute the same amount as we receive. But the most important thing, also, as Inger said earlier, it's not about really funding. It's about to participate, and also for a country like Tunisia, where most of the researchers, of course, are Tunisians. It's and used to evolve in a Tunisian landscape, participating to Horizon Europe and be as an associated country where our researchers are allowed to compete and to coordinate is an indicator for us how about the level of competitiveness of our researchers. So this is, but of course, the situation and the picture has changed from the fact when you are a third country. Yes, you can attract funding without contributing, but for an associated country, as I said, it is more to be involved, embedded in the research European area and exchange with the colleague and try to harmonize our policies with Europe, because of course we are geographically not bound to Europe, but we try, of course, in this area, try to be more coherent as much as we can. So that's what I wanted to add. Thank you.
Thank you. Very important. It's not just all about money. It's about developing the networks and ensuring that you can help your scientists connect with the best researchers in Europe. And as our program is open and we have many other countries associated, I mentioned some of them earlier. It's not just Europe, it's a broad Europe. So I don't see more questions or comments from the NCP. So I would like to ask maybe the speakers if they want to have a last statement, short, one key take-home message that they want to leave the participant with. We remind you that we would be prepared to do a second such webinar on a topic or topics that you will consider the most important and urgently needed, and we will do our best to do this. So we will leave you until the end of the week for making this suggestion. And if we have too many, we will try to regroup and ask you to pick. So we want to make sure that we answer those requests. So maybe Inga first. Do you have a last take-home message, please?
Yes, I may, but please see that Said had his hand raised. You're muted.
Please, Said, take the floor. I didn't see you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I'm a new NCP from South Africa. I just recently joined from the telecommunications sector. So I was looking at calls from the digital and space cluster, cluster 4. Okay, so I do work with Ntombi. They do have an extensive support structure in their department, in the Department of Science and Innovation. I'm more in the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research. So it was my first time I initiated some to get people interested in a call, and we had a call that we responded to. I think it was called Human-08, and we needed the specific use cases within Africa. So it was a very interesting one because it was looking at African use cases. We got the team together, managed to get partners. I think they were from Spain. They actually contacted us, and then we went ahead and we responded. But the question that I have is, as we finished it, we submitted it. Then I saw there was a response. I saw on the portal 552 responses. So obviously, the chances of winning with so many responses is really low. So only I would think those who are experienced and those who are already embedded, into the system for years will most likely win it. So we didn't win it. The response that we got was that we got a score of something like 13 out of 15, something like that. We didn't. There was some other consortium, I think from Morocco or somewhere from Northern Africa, that won it. So my question is, what is your response rate specifically from Africa? I mean, is it so many? Because then it is quite a lot of responses, and the competition will then be very high. That's my first question. And then the second question is for countries that are not associated. Like I see you have countries categorized as third countries and other third countries. I didn't quite get the classification there, and I think South Africa is classified as third. So what are the chances if you, as a third country, respond together with an associated country, can we compete with them? Does it mean that the associated countries' submissions are higher to some extent because they obviously have more experience? So I just wanted to get a feel for that, because you obviously want a feedback, the effort that you put in, you want the get the fruit for it. So we put a lot of effort into that specific one, but when I saw the 552 responses on the portal, I just knew we were not going to make it, and so that's my question basically, So what is the rate of responses that you have? And secondly, how does countries that is not associated, how do they fare, in this whole, in Horizon Europe? Thank you.
Yes, so there are different questions. So on the rate of response, it would depend on the topic. Like a topic for one coordinated and support actions, continent, we will not receive a lot of proposal, maybe 3 or 4, because there will be only one proposal funded. We had a call last year on generative AI for Africa, and I think we had more than 100 proposals. We found 4 or 5, the top 4 or 5, so the rate of success is low. In average, the rate of success is around 20%, and it is higher in Africa, so you shouldn't be shy. I mean, there is no discrimination. Actually, when we look at the statistics, a lot of countries in Africa do better than the EU average. So there is absolutely no discrimination. And it's difficult to predict in advance how much interest a call will generate. And when we launch a call, we specify the participation condition. And most of the topics I mentioned are open for consortia. So there will be the need to have at least 3 participants from member states or associated countries, and then there is actually no limit. So you are not competing against an associated country. You're just in a different category when it comes to the minimal requirements. So I don't think you should consider that there is a preference for associated country or third countries and different kinds of country. I mentioned some of the topics which are currently open, and for different topics we have different eligibility criteria. So you need to read carefully whether for some topics we clearly say there should be at least 3 participants based in Africa. Sometimes we would say more than 30% of the participants need to be based in Africa. Sometimes we say there should be at least 3 participants from Africa, Southeast Asia, or Latin America. It means it could be only Latin America. It doesn't have to be a mix of the different regions. So it's a competition. And you have to be lucky. Obviously, you need to write a good proposal. We try to give a lot of hints today, but also you need to be lucky, because sometimes we have a lot of very good proposal, and the expert panel who needs to rank them, they have a hard time comparing among the very good. You said you got 13 out of 15. Sometimes people get 14.5 and still don't make it because they are proposal with 15. So but only those who tried and submitted proposal got funded at the end. So don't get desperate, and it's not because you failed once that you should not try again. That's my long answer to your question.
Somehow you got muted, Laura.
Was I muted the whole time or just at the end?
No, at the end only.
Just at the end. So I was saying, if there are no more questions, I suggest that we do a quick set of statements from the speakers, also answering that last question we received from South Africa. And we then close. So I think I was asking Inga to start. Yeah,
yes.
Please.
Thank you. Just very shortly. As an NCP, it takes time. It means the most experienced NCPs are the ones with that have failed also the most. So I think it just gives you time to be a good NCP, because it takes time. And for the scientists who are submitting a proposal, team up with good experienced partners. That's very important. The first time, team up with good experienced partners. And if they fail and the proposal is not be funded, because that happens a lot, also focus on what you learn in going through a proposal. There's a lot of good learning, and often that proposal will end in something else, maybe not funding from the Commission, but it might be funded elsewhere or create
Very
new
good.
partners.
Very clear, very good, Inga. Maurizio? One last word.
Thank you. Sure. Well, I also want maybe to complement a bit your answer to Zaid, just a second, to say that a good resource also it's true that one of the slides that I hidden, and for time reason, was from data from the Horizon dashboards about participation. And in general, actually, I discovered also there is a specific tag for African, to group all African all the proposal and project from African partners, and the success rate is higher than the general, the overall one, in particular for topics like health and food and digital as well. So anyway, also for the NCP, the use of the dashboard, it can be very useful for their work. As a final word, I just hope I haven't overwhelmed you with information. It's true that this is not completely straightforward process. There are things to learn, but don't be scared. You as an NCP, obviously, and then don't scare your participants at all. Even as Inga was saying, also the process itself is worthwhile. It's a learning experience, applying and you discover partners, networking, and also and obviously that is very competitive. But some of the codes may be less competitive than others. Can attract less partners, and maybe you also have a chance there. Thank you.
Thank you. Professor Fana?
Yeah, thank you very much. I just would like to use this opportunity to thank all the panelists and also participants. And we are looking forward to collaborate to each of the NCPs and also for this team in general. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Helmi. I think you already had your statement, so I would like to now just turn to my colleague Agota for the closing words, and thank you all for speaking and participating today. Agota, you have the final word.
Thank you very much, Lauren. I believe this was a very rich discussion, so I'm so happy that so many of you could attend until the very end. And we, I think, learned on both sides that you are the entry points for your country. So I really believe that your dedication matters a lot. So if you do your job in a committed way, then I'm sure that the participation of Africa will further increase in the next framework program. And we are very much open for your suggestions. So I took good note of this NCP network idea. So thank you so much, and please send additional input, not only at the end of by the end of the week, but also in the future, so we can take those into consideration when forming the next program. Thank you very much for your attendance and active participation.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.